Guys, it's me, Miss Norris, and today I'd like to share a fun read aloud with you called Franklin's Thanksgiving. Franklin's Thanksgiving was written in 2001 by Paulette Bourgeois and illustrated by Brenda Clark. And it's all about Franklin and how much he loves Thanksgiving. I hope you really enjoy it. Here we go. Franklin's Thanksgiving. You can see all the vegetables that they've picked and harvested. Franklin liked everything about Thanksgiving. He liked eating pumpkin fly pie and cranberry jelly. He liked making cornucopias and cornhusk dolls. But most of all, he liked having his grandma and grandpa come for dinner. It was the family tradition, and Franklin could hardly wait. So you can see Franklin and his sister are making cornhusk dolls. And there's a picture of Franklin and his grandma and grandpa. And he's very excited for them to come for Thanksgiving. A week before Thanksgiving, a postcard arrived from Franklin's grandparents. "Oh dear," sighed Franklin's mother. "Grandma and Grandpa can't make it back for the holiday." "But they have to," cried Franklin. "They're always here for Thanksgiving." Franklin's mother gave him a hug. "There will still be the four of us," she said. "Oh, it won't be the same," Franklin grumbled. So they got a postcard from Grandma and Grandpa, and it said, "We're not going to be back in time for Thanksgiving." Maybe it's because turtles walk very slowly. And you can see Franklin was very upset, and his mom is giving him a little turtle hug. There's still going to be the four of us. It's going to be great. Over the next few days, Franklin was so busy that he didn't have much time to think about Grandma and Grandpa. He helped his mother pick apples and make applesauce. He helped his father dig up vegetables and store them in the cellar. Franklin and Bear helped Harriet and Beatrice pick berries and gather nuts. In the gardens and orchards, forests and fields, everyone was bringing in the harvest. So we can see that harvest that Franklin's helping a lot of people pick things, including helping Harriet and Beatrice pick berries, and helping Bear also get some stuff picked up. Some nuts. I'm sorry, they're nuts. They're little acorns. Franklin counted all the jars of jams and preserves. "I think this year was the most bountiful ever," announced his father. "We could feed the whole town." "I just wish we could feed Grandma and Grandpa," sighed Franklin. His mother agreed. "We'll miss having company," she said. So part of that fun, I guess, of Franklin's Thanksgiving is having people come and visit. And Mama thinks so too. But look at all those jars of jam and jelly. Yum. I like jam on toast. At school, Franklin's class made a harvest quilt and learned how the early settlers celebrated Thanksgiving. "What are you doing for Thanksgiving, Mr. Owl?" asked Franklin. "Well, I'll have dinner with my mother," he replied. "Our relatives can't visit this year." "Ours either," said Franklin. Then he had an idea. He invited Mr. Owl and his mother for dinner. "It's all right with my parents," Franklin explained. "They want company." "Well, thank you, Franklin," said Mr. Owl. "We'd be delighted to come." Franklin smiled. This would be a wonderful surprise for his parents. I'm going to give you a little up close. They've made a harvest quilt where they've put down different things that they've picked and grown in their gardens. You can see a cornucopia is hanging in the background and lots of leaves because Thanksgiving happens in the fall. And all the kids are making cool projects. And there's Franklin explaining, "Come to my house, Mr. Owl. Bring your mother. It's okay with my family." At home, Franklin's mother looked at the berry pies cooling on the windowsill. She had an idea. She walked over to Bear's house and invited the whole family for Thanksgiving. "It'll be a wonderful surprise for everyone," she explained. So while Mama's thinking about all these delicious pies, and there's so many of them, and Franklin's little sister is looking at the pies too, she decided to go and invite Bear's whole family over to the house for Thanksgiving. It sounds like their house is starting to fill up pretty quickly. Franklin's invited people. Mama's invited people. In the garden, Franklin's father waved to Mr. Mole. "Are you going to your sister's for Thanksgiving?" he asked. "Oh, no, not this year," replied Mr. Mole. "With my broken ankle, I can't go very far." Franklin's father had an idea. He invited Mr. Mole for dinner. "It'll be a wonderful surprise for everyone," he explained. So we have Mr. Owl, his mom, Bear's whole family. I think that's 2 grown-ups and 2 kids. And now Mr. Mole. That's an extra 7 people. I'm getting a little nervous. After school, Franklin went home with Moose. That's when he had another idea. It was the Moose family's first Thanksgiving in Woodland. Franklin invited them for dinner. "It's all right with my parents," he explained. "They want company." "Well, we'd be delighted," replied Mrs. Moose. Franklin smiled. His surprise was getting bigger and bigger. So you can see Franklin's going home with Moose. And he's talking to Moose and Moose's mom. And he says, "Well, it's their first year here in the town. I should invite them for dinner." And he did. On Thanksgiving morning, Franklin got up early to help with dinner. He stirred soup and shucked corn. Then he set the table for 9. Franklin's father counted the place settings. He shook his head and reset the table for 5. Franklin's mother looked at the table, and she was puzzled, but she added 3 more place settings, and everyone took turns peeking out the window, watching for surprise guests. So everyone thinks there's a different amount of people coming because they don't know that they're all surprising each other. And here's Franklin shucking corn. That means taking the leaves and the hair off. And here's Mama setting the table, and Franklin's looking out the window, and his sister's helping Mama. I think everyone's going to be surprised. Mr. Owl and his mother were the first to arrive. "Surprise!" Franklin shouted to his parents. "This is a surprise," they exclaimed. Then Father saw the Bear family and Mr. Mole. Now everyone was surprised. All the guests crowded inside, holding platters and bowls heaped high with food. So let's see. We see Mr. Owl and his mom, Mrs. Bear, Mr. Mole, Mr. Bear, the Bear children, Franklin and his friends, Franklin and his sister, Franklin's parents, Mr. Mole's coming in, and everyone is happily surprised. Franklin and his parents laughed and tried to explain what had happened. "Well, we sure have plenty to eat," declared Franklin's mother. "We just don't have plenty of room." Franklin knew they had a big problem. The Moose family hadn't even arrived yet. Franklin looked outside. There wasn't one bit of room inside, but outside, suddenly, Franklin knew what to do. So they've run out of space inside, and you can see this look on Franklin's face like they don't even know that the Moose family's coming. And he realized that there's plenty of room outside. What do you think Franklin's idea is? He says he has a good one. That's right. They're moving it outside. Moose and his family arrived as all the others came out the door. Everyone carried food and dishes, tables and chairs. "What's going on?" asked Moose. "We're eating our Thanksgiving dinner in the field," answered Bear. "Just like the early settlers," said Franklin. So you can see the Moose family has just arrived. The kids are playing, moving things. Everyone's carrying food and tables. They're moving it outside. It was a wonderful afternoon. Everyone ate lots of good food, and everyone said how thankful they were for good friends and good family. Franklin was thankful for 3 helpings of pumpkin fly pie. "I'm eating Grandma and Grandpa's pieces," he explained. So everyone's having a wonderful time and eating good food and saying how thankful they are. And Franklin's eating a lot of pie. Soon the sun was setting and it was time to go home. "This was a wonderful day," said Franklin's mother. Franklin agreed. "Let's do it again next year," he said. Everyone laughed and cheered. So you can see as the sun is going down, everyone is still hanging out and playing and snacking. That's how Thanksgiving is at my house. Grandma and Grandpa phoned later that night, and Franklin told them all about the new Thanksgiving tradition. They promised that next year they wouldn't miss it for anything. Franklin smiled. He might not get 3 helpings of pumpkin fly pie next year, but he knew he would still be thankful. The end. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you really enjoyed Franklin's Thanksgiving. It's always nice to see people coming together and taking care of each other and sharing and being thankful for one another. If you liked this story, please hit the thumbs up button at the bottom of the page. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much. Your support really means a lot to me. If you're not a subscriber yet, hit that subscribe button down at the bottom of the page. And don't forget to click the bell so you're notified when there's new content. Have a nice day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.